Now we have the big news we have been waiting for almost all year. And that is the political party, the vehicle that the coalition being put together by some prominent Nigerian politicians to unseat President Bola Tinubu and his party, the All Progressives Congress, from power in the 2027 elections. Welcome to another edition of Talking Politics and Other Issues with Dr. Oladipo. I'm the managing editor of The Eagle Online, which operates at www.theeagleonline.com.ng. And we're in partnership with one of the fastest growing YouTube channels around the world, that is The Eagle Online Nigeria. In this edition of the program, we'll be giving you very juicy details of how those involved in the coalition to unseat President Tinubu in 2027 came to the conclusion of the vehicle they are going to use to achieve that. Now, by vehicle, we are talking of political party. For so many months, the focus had been on the Social Democratic Party as a vehicle to be used by those plotting President Tinubu's ouster in 2027. And as we've told you in past editions, those who are involved in this coalition include a former vice president and the candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the 2023 elections. That is talking of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, who is the Waziri Adamawa. Also involved in that coalition is the Labour Party presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Peter Obi, who was also a former governor, two-term at that, of Anambra State. Sources told us at the Eagle Online that members of the coalition met on Tuesday, May 20, 2025, from very late in the day, close to midnight, until the early hours of Wednesday, May 21, 2025. At that meeting, which was set to have held in Abuja, a decision was taken by those who attended on the vehicle to be used to prosecute the 2027 election. As part of what we were told was the fact that those who attended that meeting included a former Kaduna State Governor, Malam Nasir El-Rufai. A former governor of Ekiti State, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, was also said to have been at that meeting. So also was a former governor of Rivers State, who was also the Minister of Transportation during the regime of former President Muhammadu Buhari, Rotimi Amici. A former governor of Osun State was also said to have attended that meeting. That former governor, who was also a former Minister of Interior in the administration of former President Muhammadu Buhari, was Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola. He was also at the meeting. According to our very reliable sources, that meeting ended in the early hours of Wednesday with a resolution that the coalition will contest that election on the platform of African Democratic Congress, that is ADC. And reasons were offered for this decision of those in the coalition. On top of that list of reasons for that choice is the fact that the ADC presents the coalition the opportunity to dissolve easily into the party without too many complications. With less than 2 years to the election, the fear is that any other platform that does not give a time frame that is profitable and usable by those in the coalition will only end up in their elections being challenged. And we've seen over time that within political parties, there have always been dissenting voices voices of opposition to people who are coming in to contest elections. And one of the questions we asked was why the shift away from the SDP, which a lot of people had assumed was going to be the platform. And we were told the rules in SDP does not give easy recognition to new members in terms of length of stay in the party to contest or stand for an election. We were told that the ADC offers this, and as such, this will enable those who are going to join the ADC at this point to have the requisite and required length of stay in the party to be able to stand for election without being challenged successfully in court. A lot of this has happened in the past, where we've seen new members joining political parties and then being disqualified at the end of the day for not having the requisite length of stay in such a political party. And then also we were told that because of the already existing antagonism from within the SDP to the reception of new members who are believed to have joined purposely to use it as the vehicle of the coalition to stand for election in 2027, it is better that those who have joined the SDP should also leave at the end of the day when the ADC arrangement is solidified. You will recollect, our listeners, that we've reported here and in our online newspaper, the Eagle Online, that one of those who joined the SDP for the 2027 agenda was the former Kaduna State Governor, Malam Nasir El-Rufai. In that party, he has been having issues. And one of the issues is the fact that the presidential candidate of the SDP in the 2023 election, who also happens to have been the national chairman of that party, Adewale Adebayo, had said it consistently that those who are coming in now may not stand a chance of standing for election in 2027, especially if the leadership comes to the conclusion that their only purpose in the party is to use it as a vehicle for contesting the election. Let's share with you a few lines on what some of our sources told the Eagle Online on Wednesday on the decision to use the ADC as a vehicle for the 2027 coalition. One of the sources said, and I quote from here, "You know, virtually all of these people are still in one party or the other. And this is less than 2 years before the 2027 general election. So they are being careful so that no legal entanglement will stop those who are eventually going to fly the flag of the coalition. All the parameters were considered before settling for ADC." Now, maybe we can run through the political affiliation of some of those who are in the leadership cadre of this coalition. As an instance, Atiku Abubakar has now resigned his membership of the People's Democratic Party. He's still well entrenched there as a leader. Peter Obi also belongs to the Labour Party, which is still claiming him till date, especially when the news emerged that he was, as we reported well over a month ago, going to be a member of this coalition and that he was going to run as a vice presidential candidate to Atiku Abubakar for the 2027 election. And as we reported, you'll recall, the agreement then, which is now a matter of dispute and political discussion, was that Atiku Abubakar will do one term as president with Peter Obi as vice president, who will then, in 2031, take over as president and perhaps run for 2 terms. Also in that leadership cadre is Dr. Kayode Fayemi, who till now is a member of the All Progressives Congress, and that is the party of the incumbent president, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu. So, and there are so many more like that. Only few of them do not, as we speak, have affiliation with one political party or the other. And it really comes to mind that Rotimi Amechi, who is involved, has become dissatisfied with the APC that was his party up until when he contested the 2023 presidential primaries of the party, which he lost to the incumbent. So also, Ralph Aregbesola was a member of that party. We've not heard that he has resigned, but so many people know that he's dissatisfied with the party and has dissociated himself from the APC. So, because of all of this, the gladiators are watching their steps so that they don't get entangled in legal matters that could truncate their ambition. Because even sometimes after winning elections, this can still come back to haunt them. Now let's go back to the meeting that was held on Wednesday, or between Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, that is May 20 and 21, 2025. The Eagle Online probed further and wanted to know how the coalition, or if the coalition has come to a conclusion on who the presidential and vice presidential candidates will be. What we were told at this point was the fact that the coalition is now taking it easy, and as the discussion to move into ADC thickens, no one is talking about that issue again. What everyone is doing, we were told, is just focusing on the mission, the sole mission of that coalition, on seating President Tinubu and the APC from power. Peter Obi confirmed that on Tuesday, May 20, 2025, before that meeting, that his coalition is targeted at the fight against hunger and poverty. And we were told that that's the spirit with which every member of the coalition is running now. Let me again quote that source and another who spoke with us on what to look forward to when it comes to time to decide on who flies the flag of the party and who does not. One of them said, and I quote, whether Atiku or Peter Obi or El-Rufai, none of them is talking about who the president or vice president will be. Their singular focus is to get the APC and Tinubu out of power. When the time comes, they all will go through the process put in place by the ADC for the 2027 elections. It is not by fiat. What people are saying is far from the truth. The truth is that no decision has been taken and no candidate can force himself on the coalition as presidential candidates. So also, as they talk about sharing of political offices, never come up at any of the meetings of the coalition. It is the people out there who are doing the permutation alongside the individuals within the coalition. The talks are ongoing, and that's the end of the quote from the source who spoke with us. You'll recall, our listeners, that early April, up until the middle of April of this year, 2025, we reported, like I said earlier on, that there was an agreement or a proposal, as we can describe it, that when the coalition is eventually formed, Atiku should run for one term as president and then step down for Obi, who would have been his vice president for that one term, to take over. That has generated a lot of reactions from Ohaneze Ndigbo, from the Labour Party, from the Obedient Movement, and from Obi himself. And the point in all of this is the fact that the South does not want to lose out in the political scheming of 2027. And for a lot of people in the South, the belief is that Peter Obi stands the best chance of winning that election, where if he gets the support of the North, led in this instance by Atiku Abubakar. And like we reported, what the South is looking for is that Atiku Abubakar will step down for Peter Obi and allow him to run and back him as candidate. But some part of the North also still believe that the North should be allowed to take a shot at the presidency. And they believe that the time is now. And that Atiku Abubakar has the capacity to do it. Commenting on this position, Peter Obi said, like I told you earlier, that he's not in the coalition for position gains. Rather, he said, I'm in a coalition against bad governance, hunger, and poverty. The Obedient Movement has also reacted to this, saying that they are not aware that Peter Obi has joined any coalition. That position was made known by the Director of Strategic Communication and Media of Obedient Movement, Nana Kazaure, who said, if Peter Obi will ever leave the Labour Party, it won't be in the position, he will be in the position to announce it himself and not any other person. He was very clear when he said about the report that Obi had moved into that coalition. When he said, and I quote him, even as we know that the publication is imaginary to the author, we are tempted not to ignore it because of the possible foul misconception it will have in the public space. While frank and cordial engagements with our partners and stakeholders towards a coalition continue amicably, the Obedient Movement would like to state emphatically that there is no truth or basis to the report whatsoever. Without any risk of contradiction, we would like to reiterate that Mr. Obi has maintained that his objective and his involvement in a coalition is to provide a united front against bad governance. To tackle the issues of bad governance, corruption, hunger, poverty, poor health care, out of school children, and the myriad of other problems daily affecting the people of Nigeria. And for a lot of people who read perfect meanings into details of such statements, the word coalition keeps coming up, meaning that, as we have confirmed over time, and which Obi himself confirmed, is part of a coalition, but they are not yet discussing positions to take. So as it is, we were told, and emphatically so, that nothing has changed in terms of the proposal that is on ground. And that is considering the fact that a lot of the movements that is happening now on the political scene will be based ultimately in 2027 on the capacity of each of those who are aspiring to the presidency. And as we stand, those who are believing that the People's Democratic Party stand a good chance of unseating the president, the incumbent, are beginning to have their fears. Not with Atiku Abubakar already out of the party, and not with a former governor of Rivers State and the minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, who is a major voice now in the People's Democratic Party, saying to the party that he will not run against President Tinubu in 2027. For so many, this means one of the live wires of funding of that party does not support the party running against President Tinubu in 2027. It was at a meeting of the PDP less than 2 weeks ago, where he said, and which was widely reported, and also maintained the same stance after the meeting, that he will not, apart from backing President Tinubu, that he will not support any candidate that is not from the South for the presidency. And this comes amid the meetings that are being convened by the SDP, which has set up a reconciliation committee that is headed by former President of the Senate, Dr. Abubakar Bukola Saraki, to reconcile party members. It was very clear, that is Wike now, saying to them, any move not to have a southern candidate will not get his support. And as far as President Tinubu is running, it will be his choice. Now the PDP is not so much at a crossroad as per wanting to run for the presidential election in 2027, but it is torn completely between producing a northern candidate and a southern candidate. What happened in 2023, a lot of people fear, will repeat itself in 2027, especially if the party throws open the tickets. In the PDP itself, there are people who have, through their body languages, shown interest in the 2027 presidency. One of them, the governor of Bauchi State, that is talking about Governor Mohammed. And a southerner, the governor of Oyo State, Governor Seyi Makinde, have already shown interest, even if they have not spoken it out. The condition in that party makes it susceptible to anything that happens outside of the party, because there is not going to be a united position on producing a candidate. And some are arguing that if Wike has said he will not back a northern candidate, then it is likely that the coalition that is ongoing, based on all the parameters, will likely come up with a southern candidate. Indeed, some are saying that the joker from the coalition could be the fact that at the last minute, Atiku Abubakar will step down and completely back a southern candidate, who is likely to be Peter Obi. We are watching and we are waiting. And just like we have done now, we promise you to be the first to bring you that news. Don't always forget to stay tuned to this channel. In all ramifications, we are not going to get it wrong, and we are going to be the first to bring you that news. So, the advice is subscribe. When you subscribe, you'll be the first to get it when you bring you the news. Don't also forget to like and share this video because a lot more people need to see it and learn what you have just learned from this video that is bringing you the fresh news on the political scene. Don't forget also that we have all our social media handles where you can glean information both from the YouTube channel and the online newspaper, that is the Igbo Online. Check our bio here and you can easily subscribe to them. You can easily like them and keep sharing our contents. Until we come your way next time, my name is Dr. Oladipo and I am the managing editor of the Eagle Online and also the man in charge of talking politics with Dr. Oladipo and other issues. Catch you on the next edition and which will be very soon.